Hello, it's Joanne in my greenhouse today. Boy, I tell you, these plants are just growing so fast. I got to keep up. So today, it's kind of hard for me to put a camera everywhere, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do in ahead of time. These are a red cypress vine. They have little tubular flowers, and they are a climbing vine, so I'm going to put them in a pot with a little trellis to get them started climbing, because anytime you plant a vine like this, they really just kind of sit here at this point until you get something for them to climb, and then they start going nuts. So I want them to start climbing and getting some flower shoots on them. And then I'm going to be looking at my little sprouts and seedlings. These I can let grow quite a bit bigger, but they sure are growing fast. I am not sure what those little guys are until I pick it up and read the label on the side. Definitely a climber, and yeah, a vine. And it may be more, no, it's not, because it's different. Anyway, I need to find all the plants anyways that are that big. I'm getting too big for these little spots, and put them in a bigger pot. These guys will do alright for a while. Those guys down there, as you can see, I'll zoom in a little. They're getting pretty big, but they're just going to have to stay there. Sorry. Anyways, my canna lilies are getting big, but I put them in a bigger pot to start with. There's a few in smaller pots that are going to have to be moved up to a little larger house. Anyway, some of my little plants I got started in here. Blue salvias in cups. Now these plants down here in the big pots, what I'm going to do, and I thought I'd show you some of what I'm doing, is I'm going to go through them and try to find at least a row or two for one of these little trays of each kind of leaf, so that whatever kind of plant they are, I would be able to plant some of them. And this pot I had lantana in, and I also had this Roman red salvia, and this is a really nice plant for hummingbirds. So I'm going to do my best to find the leaves that I think went with that plant. And I'm going to try to get a few more, because when all these pots get outside, and I have more that aren't sitting in here, I want to be able to have whatever color of salvia that I want to put in there all ready to go. So I might take some out of here, but for sure I'm going to take them out of here. And then I've got some pots with my lavender and with my crocosmia, and I know that those are not crocosmia coming up in there, so I want to make sure that I have that pot saved for what's supposed to be coming up, and I'll have to move those other plants. So I'm going to pause this for a moment, and then I'm going to get my supplies, and I will be back to take some little plants out of this pot. So, hello, I'm back. And I've got just a little plastic tray that I'm just going to set off here to the side. And I've got a little spoon, and I'm going to try to make sure I get a little soil with these little plants underneath. There's way too many starts to let them grow in here. So I want to make sure I have some of each plant that has these old stems And I want to make sure that if that plant's coming up from the stems, that those are still here until I see where the plant comes up. And then I'll either pull them up or cut them off at the ground. Probably cut them off at the ground. But anyway. So, guess I'll set that down there. I'll try to zoom in a little closer. The light is pretty bright in here, so it's hard to tell. So I'm thinking that these are all the same little kind of leaf, and I'm thinking that those are the Roman red. So I want to make sure that I get some of those, because red is a hummingbird favorite, and this is a different kind of plant, and this is a different kind of plant, so I think they go over there. But for my little Roman reds, I'm just gonna try to make sure I dig down deep enough to get the roots. Boy, that one didn't. You can kind of see how this root is coming out over here. So set that in my little tray. Try to get a little closer. There we go. So you can see what little leaf pattern I'm pulling up. Now a lot of times when I plant these, I plant them kind of curved, facing out, because I want them to be able to, well, those roots, I want them to be able to kind of grow outward. That one I'm just going to plant back where he was, just because he had a good root. When I pull on that, there's a bigger root, and I kind of think that goes to these stems. So I don't want to disturb that, because if that's where the plant is and it's going to do good, then I want to make sure I leave it there. This plant I'm taking out of here because right here are my canna lilies. I don't know if you can see those. Yeah, right here my canna lilies are. And there were little plants coming up right here. And I don't need that. These don't need to be coming up in the middle of the canna lily. So, these little leaves, a little longer, kind of veiny. I think those are possibly the same ones. Now, these look like they might be a little possibly different. They're a little more rippled around the outside of the leaf, right here. So I'm going to get me a row of those. My husband and I were talking about some of the words we use for the fun of it when we know they're bad English. I'm sorry. Um, I usually just do that for his benefit because he likes to correct my English. Anyway, see if he's awake in the daytime. If he is, he'll sure let me know. It's funny because I was the straight A student and he was not. But he's the one that corrects my English all the time. And I was the one that corrected all the teacher's papers without a teacher's key. He just gave me grades, schoolwork for students that were older than me by 2 or 3 grades. And didn't get a teacher's key one time, which was kind of funny. And I thought, if they're learning something that I don't know, then shouldn't I need a key to be able to correct their papers? Anyways, I never asked the teacher about it. I just did it because I got to go to the library and do it while everybody else was doing schoolwork. So anyways, there are advantages to being teacher's helper. Okay, I have never grown lantana from seed. And I see a whole bunch of shoots, or a whole bunch of sprouts over here. And they look a lot similar to the other ones. So I think I'm going to let them get a little bigger so that I know if they're different or if they're the same. This one here looks a little different. Now after I pull these out, I'm going to put a little more soil where I took this out of the top. I don't know if these look any different to you, but some of those did, and whether they're just bigger or not, I don't know. So anyways, those are going to be what I take out of there for the moment. As you can see, I'm getting a decent tray, and they just have the dirt and the roots, hopefully. So when I separate them, I'll pop them right into another. Get those back over in the sunshine. So while I'm thinking here a minute, I'll pause this. So I'm back and I've grabbed the lavender pot. And this should just have lavender in it. And I don't really know what these seedlings are. But what I want to do, I'll try to keep them in view, is I want to see how many other little shoots there are. Here's actually a little start of lavender. And on the stem, it just kind of grew to the stem of this. But trying to make sure you can see it here. This was just attached to the end of this stem. And I just broke it right here because there's roots. And those roots will root in the soil. So I'm going to put that in my little box. And I don't know what this kind of flower is. But my guess is it's one of my salvias, because it was in a pot in the middle of them. And this is definitely a different kind of sprout. So I just took this little chunk out. Get the leaf out of there. One of them's growing through the leaf. That's kind of funny. But that's one of the things I found, that when I put those seedlings on paper towels, sometimes they grow into the paper towel. And that doesn't work very well when you're separating them. So, I'm going to take one of these. I can see where it is. Take one of these from another pot here that's close by. And I'm going to grab a bee's balm start or two out of my big pot full of them. And then I'm going to take a few more zinnias out of these pots because there's too many. And if I have big pots with a big 7 or 8 of them in them, it'll be really colorful, and someone could even just pick it up and plant it in the garden. And they would have a beautiful bunch of flowers. I'll have to see if I can find pictures of my zinnias. I know that they're in one of my garden videos from last year, but those great big giant zinnias from California are great seeds to plant, and the hummingbirds, have put them in a sunny spot where you can take pictures of the hummingbirds when they come over, and you will enjoy it. So, have a great day. They also attract an awful lot of butterflies, so if you're into butterflies too, enjoy them. And I'm going to trim up this lavender too today. So, have a great day, and thanks for watching. These will all be in one of these trays next by tomorrow in the greenhouse, and my tables are getting kind of full, so I'm going to have to either make more tables or figure something out. So, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.